Hello, welcome to this episode of the Zero Limit Life podcast. My name is Olusheye Igbefe. I am your host, and as always, I'm glad to have you. I trust that you have been well. Today, we will be having a conversation about how to make better decisions. How to make better decisions. Decision making is one of the most important life skills because our life is a representation of our decisions. Your life is simply the sum total of all the decisions that you have made till date. Think about it. More importantly, who and what your future will be like will also be based on the decision that you make. And that shows you just how important decision making is. Because the better you are able to make decisions, the better your future will be. The sad part is that growing up, most of us were never taught how to make decisions. And even as adults, some never learn how to make decisions. Which is why, by the way, you should be kind enough and share this podcast with your family and your friends so that they can learn how to make better decisions. All right, so in this episode, I want to share with you a few tips on how to make better decisions. One method commonly used in making decisions, which is really not a decision making method, is avoidance. Avoidance is when we choose to postpone making a decision, often till things get either very bad, so that we have no choice, we have to make the decision, or the situation decides for us. For example, let's say you want to apply for college and you decide, should I apply, should I not apply, should I not apply, should I apply? Eventually, the submission date is over, admission is over, the situation has decided for you. And a lot of people do that. Sometimes avoidance makes us suffer unnecessarily. Think of that person who hates their job yet do not decide to quit. Certain things will only get worse the longer you wait. So here goes my first tip. Make decisions early. Make it sooner because time won't always make things better. Take fast actions that will make your life better. If you don't like your job, make a decision to quit. Okay? Don't decide after 10 years of being miserable. You are in an abusive relationship, make a decision to quit if you want to quit. If you want to get help, make a decision to get help. Don't, put off decision making unnecessarily. And then after a few years or many years, or you have lost the opportunity, you then say, oh, I wish I've made a decision. No. My first tip is very important. Make decisions firmly and quickly. Don't stay unnecessarily long in a particular situation before you decide. I'm not saying be hasty, but be decisive. Be decisive because indecision itself is a decision not to decide. So be decisive about your life. Be decisive about what you want to do. There are people that have toyed with the idea of relocating for years and years, such that now it's become so much difficult. They have more children, they are older. There are so many things that were to their advantage if they had gone earlier that is now to their disadvantage. Make decisions early and promptly about your life. Be decisive when it comes to your life. That is my first tip. My second tip is that you should have a criteria for making decisions. There are so many decision making processes in the world. You can Google them, you can learn them, learn different decision making processes so you know which one you want to apply. Learn how to evaluate your options, learn how to weigh the pros and cons, learn how to assign weights to the different options that you have. There's a three-step system that is very simple that you can even apply for most decisions. The three-way system says, number one, check that the decision is good for you, it's good for your family, it's good for your health, it's in your best interest. Number two, check that it is also good for others so that you're not selfish. So think about your business partners, if it's a business decision, your co-workers, your family, your friends, your neighbors. Think about them. How will this decision affect them? And number three, can your decision be universally applied? If any person were in your situation, Would this decision be right for them as well? Let's say there's something also called the Facebook test. If this decision popped up tomorrow on your Facebook as your status, that this decision you made, would you be proud of it? Is it something that you can be open about? You can be proud about that you have decided? That is one process of making decisions, checking if it's good for you, checking if it's good for others, and if it can be universally applied. There are different processes of decision making. Learn them so that when you want to make a decision, you're not just going forth and back in your head thinking, should I not, should I not? That is not a good decision making process at all. Or you toss a coin. Heads, I do it, tails, I don't do it. No. When you want to make decisions, learn the different criteria or the different processes that you can use to make decisions and then utilize them. My third tip is that when you want to make decisions or to make better decisions, you must be well informed. You must be able to make what is called an informed decision. To make an informed decision, it means you get as much fact as possible. Give yourself a time frame to do this. Don't leave it open-ended, because if you leave it open-ended, some people will say for 2, 3 years, oh, I'm still trying to get all the information. That's not what I'm talking about. So give yourself a time frame, make your research, get your facts, get it from the right sources, so that at the end of the day, you can have this in view and make an informed decision. Let your choices be informed choices. Like I said, don't just toss a coin and then make a decision. No. I say this often, that wise people learn from mistakes, but they learn from the mistakes of others. Sometimes the business decision you are trying to make, others have made it before. Learn from them. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So more often than not, there is a roadmap for many of the decisions that we struggle to make. And that is one of the reasons why reading or studying is a great aid in making great decisions. If you are somebody who reads, then your ability to make decisions will be greatly enhanced. If you have a role model, a mentor, a business mentor, the possibility that they have made many decisions that you will eventually make is high. So it becomes smart to learn from them what to do, and in some cases, what not to do. Or at the very least, you will get a perspective from their own decision. So in making decisions, be well informed, be armed with the facts. Take out your time, but give yourself a time frame. And within that time frame, get as much information as possible so that you can make an important decision. My fourth tip in making better decisions is do not limit yourself to only the obvious options. Sometimes we fret whether to take road X or road Y, or we should take option A or option B when there is an option C that is perfect for us. So, for example, you talk about someone who's torn between relocating to a country and not relocating to that country. Why not consider the option of going to study for a few years, or take an extended trip or vacation to that country and then decide if you want to live there? Don't box yourself in unnecessarily. If you have yourself being turned, between two options and none of them is appealing to you, ask yourself, is there any other option? Is there any other alternative that you can actually choose? Don't box yourself in. Now, when you finally make a decision, stick with it. Let me say that again. When you finally make a decision, stick with it. Don't go back and second guess yourself. Because every time you second guess yourself, you attack your ability to make decisions. Making decision is a skill. Decision making is a skill, just like a muscle. You build it up and you get stronger and better at it. Every time you second guess yourself, you tear down that ability that you have built. Don't second guess yourself unnecessarily. Make the best and most informed decision you can at a time. And once you have made that decision, stick to it. If more information comes to light later, don't fret about it. Remember that at that time, that was the best decision you could have made. And so don't beat yourself up. Don't say, oh, no. Once you have decided to go ahead with it, this is what I've decided, go ahead and implement it. Now, don't also forget to learn from your decision-making process. And this applies to your good decisions and your bad decisions. Because in life, there will be times when you will make wrong decisions or bad decisions. But the most important thing is not the decision itself, but what you learn from the decision. When you make a good decision or a right decision, don't just go like, oh my, yeah, I'm good, I made a good decision. That's nice. But more importantly, reflect on it. How come I got it right? What did I do? How did I think? What were the methods I used? What was the process I used? What you are doing is that you're trying to discover a pattern so that you can replicate it. And once you can replicate your success, then you can always be successful. And you should subject your mistakes or your wrong decisions to the same analysis. How come I got it wrong? Where did I miss it from? How was I thinking? That way, you can also learn what to avoid next time you want to make a decision. My task for you this week is very simple. I want you to start by analyzing what is the decision that you have been delaying to make. Is it going back to school? Is it getting a professional certification? Is it starting a relationship? Is it leaving a bad relationship? Is it quitting your job? Is it starting a new business? Whatever it is, set a timeline to make that decision. Identify the criteria you want to use, do your research, and before the end of your timeline, make your decision. Remember that indecision itself is a decision. Don't allow situation and circumstances to make your decisions for you. Be decisive about your life and make good and quality decisions. And as you make better decisions, the quality of your life will improve. Remember that your life is the sum total of all the decisions that you make. And that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you have learned something and that you have found this very valuable. Remember to share with family and friends. And do not forget to click the subscribe button. Till I come your way next time, I'm Olushe Igbafe. Stay blessed and take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Bye.